Good evening, everyone. My name is Bumtye John Amadi Damshakal. I am a legal practitioner, resident in Kaduna, and the principal partner of Boom Attorneys. I am glad to be here to discuss on the topic drug abuse and addiction. First of all, permit me to state that drug abuse and addiction is a very broad topic. It's one topic that we cannot exhaust tonight, considering the limited time we have. But that being the case, we can only talk about the rudiments, the introductory part of it. And I believe that I assure you, I will be available subsequently to discuss on this topic so we could have a proper dissection of drug abuse and addiction. First of all, I want to tell you that what I am talking about here is not what somebody told me. It is not what I went to school to read about or to study about. It's not what I read in the books or a research I conducted. No, it is what I went through personally. It is my personal life, my personal experience that I'm telling you about drug abuse and addiction. First of all, what is drug abuse? Drug abuse is the urge to excessively use substances. It's the urge to excessively use unprescribed drugs. For instance, you are having headache and you take 5 tablets of paracetamol instead of 2. It is drug abuse. What we're talking about today is what is happening among young Nigerians. In fact, young people the world over. And what is that which is happening? There are controlled drugs which people tend to make part and parcel of their lives. That is addiction. When you make something, you make your livelihood depend on something, it is addiction. And I assure you that addiction is going a long way in destabilizing our social life. That is why we're here on Social Order to discuss this thing. So, drug abuse now, there are different ways and aspects of drug abuse. There are different drugs that are being abused now. And there are different reasons for abusing drug use. So in this discourse, I am going to tell you some of these reasons and why it is happening and ways for us to avoid them. As I said earlier, time is not our friend, but we are going to make sure we do justice to it. Now, secondly, I want to tell you about my personal experience with drug abuse. My experience with drug abuse is one that I found myself as a young person. And as I said, there are different reasons why people indulge in drugs. For some, it is peer group pressure. For some, it is depression. For some, it is just they want to exploit. In my case, I grew up in a very religious home, a Christian home where my parents were concerned about everything that was going on with you. So at every point, at every minute, they wanted to know what you were going through and what you were doing. So I decided to start fashioning out ways of doing such things without them knowing. First, I started with cigarettes, then marijuana and SK, then subsequently alcohol. And before you know it, I was doing nitrazepam, I was doing ketamine, I was doing refinol, I was doing diazepam, I was doing codeine, I was doing crack, in fact, there's nothing I've not had in this life pertaining drugs, like controlled drugs that are being abused. Actifect that you take for flu, we abused Actifect. Take a lot of tablets of Actifect and you get the trips you want. What was my reason? When I started taking cigarettes, marijuana and alcohol, I realized that my parents and siblings were perceiving the smell of these things on me. So I decided to start fashioning out things that I could take that will make them not know what I was into. So I come back home. You could see that clearly, Bumtye is intoxicated. But you check to know the smell of whatever he used, but you wouldn't know, you wouldn't feel it. Because these are drugs that have no smell. And I thought I was doing myself good. I thought I was doing a very wonderful thing. I was smart. That is it. Young people always think they are smarter than elders. But I put myself in a condition where I almost dropped out of school. I had to stop in my 300 level. Why did I stop? I realized that my GP that was 4.3 in 100 level, at 300 level, I was struggling to make 2 points. And I knew that if I had not stopped, I would not graduate. That would be a big shame for my family because of the moral training I got. I knew that would be a shame, and I decided to wake up. You see, I want to tell you that this is my story. You have your story. Other people have their stories. All we need to do now is fashion out ways of fixing people's stories to make it something that they can proudly stand and beat their chest about tomorrow. For me, I'm happy. Today, I'm a made man. I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm making it by God's grace because I decided to speak out and I got a way out. So, thirdly, I will tell you what is the way out of drug abuse and addiction. The way out of drug abuse and addiction is Jesus Christ. The way out of drug abuse and addiction is dedicating your life to Christ and giving God your life, giving God your heart. Allow God to walk through you. Allow God to use you. And I assure you, the social order pertaining you will be fixed. You will be an agent of social order, just as I am today. I am on social order, talking about drug abuse and addiction, because I allowed God to take charge of my heart. How about you? What is it you're going through? What is getting you depressed? Why are you keeping it to yourself? Why can't you tell God? Tell God, He will give you the grace to tell another person. Open up and discuss it. When you discuss it, first and foremost, the first point, as I said earlier, is you agreeing that there is a problem. If you agree that you have a problem in drug abuse and addiction, then you are going to find a solution out of it. Then secondly, dedicate your life to God. Then finally, speak to someone else. Speak to someone who has passed through that line. Speak to someone whom you respect. Speak to someone whom you trust. Someone that you know would not just keep it as a secret, but will also respect you for opening up to tell him what you're going through. I assure you, with that, you will solve the problem. But the biggest of it all is you dedicating your life to God. You giving your life to Christ. That is the magic. That is my story. That is the magic I made, or I did. God did it for me. I want to tell you that as at 2017, I was still indulging. After stopping in 300 level, that was 2007. When I graduated 2011, I got back to it. Why? Because I did it for human thinking. In human thinking, I mean, what do I mean by human thinking? Yes, I only stopped because I wanted to graduate school and I won't be ashamed to my parents and my siblings. But in 2011, when I graduated, I said, yeah, I have arrived. And I started indulging again. 2012, I was in law school. 2013, I was called to Barr. And as at 2017, I had this desire to stop because it was affecting my life, it was affecting my practice, it was affecting my mentality, it was affecting everything going on around me. I was depreciating my thought process, my thought principles, everything was depreciating. I knew there was a problem. I needed to stop. How did I go about it? I spoke to my colleague, Gladys Matthew, and we prayed about it. After praying, I got the urge to dedicate my life to Christ. 24th April 2017, I was in Living Faith Church Sabo, and the preacher spoke about Bumtye. Yes, you're surprised. He spoke about me from the Word of God. So if you have issues you're contending with, go to the Word of God. Go to the Bible. There are a lot of answers you could get to your problems in the Bible. And that was what happened to me. I went to church, had the Word, and the Word was about me, about things I was going through. I made a decision that day, took the altar call, and the rest is history. Today I'm here before you, doing well. That year, God gave me the grace to register my own law firm. 2 years after I got married. Now I have my own office. I have juniors working under me. And I'm doing well in legal practice by the grace of God. Why? Because I took those steps I told you. I agreed that I had a problem, dedicated my life to Christ, and I shared with my colleague, whom I respected and whom trusted me also. Gentlemen and ladies, viewers and listeners, I have told you that for the paucity of time, we might not be able to exhaust this topic today. But I am also assuring you that I will be on social order again for us to exhaust the topic drug abuse and addiction. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.